You know how you kick Asians out of your community?
Yeah. You just stop buying that stuff.
That's right.
I'm gonna ask you this question, and I want you to answer. Now, Kato, you're from Cambodia, so you know Asian culture, you know American culture.
Not Asian culture.
You know American culture. You told me why you don't like to be, why they don't use Oriental, everything like that. So I'm gonna ask you a hard question. Why don't Asians like black people?
No, why does black people like
No.
Asians? The question I have to you is why?
No.
Why do black people hate Asians?
No, okay, I'll answer you. I don't think black people hate Asians.
Hey,
So
how do you take this off?
no. I don't think you gotta get it off. Just oh shit, just like that.
Okay.
There you go.
Why do black people hate Asians? That's the question I have.
Well, because you beat our asses and kick us out of your stores. You teamed up with the white people to take all our money. That's why. You teamed up with the white people to take all our money because we had our own neighborhoods. We had our own neighborhoods.
How did they take your money?
Well, we had our own neighborhoods and the white people was pissing us off. We had a riots, beat their asses out of the cities. And so they used the government and they gave the Koreans some extra money to take over the hair industry. And they gave you incentive to come there and put your stores there where we used to have our stores. So that's why they get pissed off. But still, most black people still buy the Asian stuff. So that's not the thing.
I'm going to let you know. The point is, you know how you kick Asians out of your community?
Yeah. You just stop buying that stuff.
That's right. You know how you kick Asians out of your community? You know how you kick Asians out of your community? You know how you kick Asians out of your community? You know how you kick Asians out of your community? You know how you kick Asians out of your community?
Yeah. You just stop buying that stuff.
That's right.
Rare honesty.
So whose fault is it to give the fucking Asians the money?
Well, if you see my money on the floor and I won't pick that money up, you're still not supposed to take it.
Yeah. Hey, you're not supposed to take our shit either. Don't take my beer, man.
Nah. I mean, I really don't think black folks hate. I don't think black people hate Asians. No, but
The next day later. So we see the same store. And our sisters, they don't respect. It's boarded up. It's the same store. The brother sacrificed, got arrested. And what do we see? We see our sisters. They don't respect the sacrifice of a brother who's standing up for them, for their honor. And they'll still go into these Asian people stores. So this is letting you know it's more than just, the Asians' fault. It's the Asian invasion, but they're opportunistic. They don't really hate you. They don't have a hatred of you. They didn't enslave you. But basically they see a dead body. They see money on the ground. They know it's your money, but they see that you're too ignorant to pick it up. Instead, that they don't have the nature to fix you, but so They don't have that kind of nature where if they see you in trouble that they will train you up to repair you. They just, they didn't do it, and so they'll just snatch up your money because you're not in a intelligent mindset. You're not in an intelligent situation, a level of unity to be able to protect yourself. So they'll just take your money. I mean, they didn't do it. So we still have to look at it in a certain way. The Asian folks, they're not at the level of what we have going on with white people, the Anglo-Saxons. But at the same time, you have to defend yourself against them, because they will fight you, because now that they got a hold of some of your money, they don't want to let that go. But they will let it go. They will. But you have to enforce your respect. So with Asians, all you have to do is stop spending money with them. They will leave. With white people, that's a different story. White people have some type of religious declaration in their Aryan gospels that tells them that you are destined to be their slave. So they're going to actively pursue you for enslavement, mentally, physically. So with white people, you have to do a little bit more fighting to gain your independence, and you always have to be aware of them because they will not deal with you fairly. All right. So check this out here. Look, and like I said, we got to know the history of this stuff. So let's look at this here.
Yeah, that's Little Richard.
Yeah.
This city alone only had 10 beauty supply stores 20 years ago. Now there are over 100 Korean-owned beauty supply stores. Okay, you're looking at a typical beauty supply store, Korean-owned beauty supply store, but all these products have one common denominator. They are all aimed at the Afro community. One of the things that the Koreans are doing now, and they predicted this themselves back in 1999, and it's happening now, since they control 80% of the distribution of Afro hair care products, especially professional products that are sold in beauty supply stores only, it only stands to reason they can control what gets distributed. They are creating their own line of products or buying out existing black-owned companies. I don't see a reversal of this at all. It's just getting deeper and deeper.
With the Koreans controlling the retail and wholesale distribution, they're slowly making inroads into taking over the black manufacturers.
We're going to Kazuri Products. They are a black-owned manufacturer of hair care products, but specialize primarily in curling irons, pressing combs, and the stove heaters that you heat the irons up in.
This is Lucky White, who owns Kazuri along with her husband.
We have been in business for over 30 years, and we are a black company selling to black beauty supplies and also to black hairstylists, and we make a quality product. Everyone look at our product as being the best in the industry. However, since the Asians have been here, they are cutting us out, telling us that our product is not in demand any longer. The Korean connection. About 3 years ago, they started to blacklist our product as they brought their own products in. They started to manufacture curling irons, and they duplicate everything that you manufacture. They were duplicated, and then they start to slowly cut back on orders, and then they tell you that your product is not in demand. So they would make something that's very similar that looked like ours, and then they try and sell the consumer on this product.
Can you show me some products from Kazuri?
Kazuri?
Kazuri products.
This is Kazuri product.
This is all
On the
Kazuri.
top. This is a A1.
So you have maybe 3 Kazuris, and then the
We
rest
have this Kazuri, this A1 product, this Stella.
Stella.
Yeah.
Who makes
Three brands.
Who makes Stella?
They are resale the wholesalers.
And they make this product.
Actually, they make a copy, for the other brand, like Kazuri, like A plus. but their brands, they are no good quality.
Not good.
Rare
Just
honesty.
copy.
They are really trying to shut us out of the industry.
They're telling you they will no longer distribute your product in these stores?
They tell us that our product is not in demand any longer, but that's just an excuse not to purchase our products.
This is actually a tea bumper by Kazuri. I use it all the time.
This is the place to be, a black hair salon in San Jose, California.
Kazuri products are much in demand. We use them here. We have a setup here. We also have one here. We use their spritz as well. We use their whole lineup, so they are in high demand.
We have to look at saving our community as well as saving this industry. We are a nation within this nation, and we're just giving everything away. And we cannot do that any longer. We have to stand up and fight. We are beautiful black people. If we have to wear our hair short, so be it. Let's wear it short, but let's get this under control where we control the industry and not let someone else come in and then set up and take all our revenue out of the community.
In 1905, Madam C.J. Walker invented hair care products for African American women. She sold her products door to door and became a self-made millionaire. Today, Koreans dominate the ethnic hair care and beauty supply business. In Washington, D.C., where African Americans are the largest consumers of hair care products, there are few beauty supply businesses owned by people of color.
The Korean and Asian ancestors that have passed down and started with dry cleaners and certain services that were in the African American community that turned into wig making, and they had access to hair from South Korea, turned into wig making, turned into wig making, turned into wig making,
turned into wig making,
and turned into wig making, that turned into wig making, and they had access to hair from South Korea. So within the Washington, D.C. region, they kept the ownership and it transferred into the beauty supply industry.
They pool their money and all the stores chip in, where we don't have that kind of capital to purchase at that volume that they do.
The Dudley Beauty College in Washington, D.C. has its own line of hair care products.
Dudley is in partnership with the cosmetologist, and anything that affects the cosmetologist affects Dudley products. We do not sell our product to beauty supply places. We sell the product directly to the cosmetologist.
Action Beauty Supply, an African-American owned and operated business, has serviced beauty salons and consumers in the D.C. area for 30 years.
I think it's very important for Black people to invest and own their own businesses, for the simple fact that we are the main connoisseurs when it comes to hair care and hair products.
While Koreans dominate the ethnic beauty supply business, people of color are organizing to gain a share in the marketplace. For Howard University News Service, I'm Beverly Lindsay Johnson.
When it comes to any group that you're doing business with that's coming into or invading your space, you need to learn the history of them as a business person, because you need to learn that culture. How did they accomplish their goals? Because if you're dealing with another group of people on a large scale, you need to know their culture. What are the tenets of success that they will draw from? Okay, and just basic info about the history of the Korean people. You know, they have a thing called the Three Kingdoms. So that's something, and they got their independence. You know, it's a 2,000-year-old society, Korean, and they got their independence from China. And this is according to the basic history. They have the Three Kingdoms, Goguryeo, along with Pakche and Silla. Goguryeo was one of the three kingdoms of Korea. Today, Goguryeo is a very important part of Korea's history. Okay, So, I mean, it's just basic stuff that they put out there just for the world to know about themselves. So Kogorio was founded in the year 37 BC. So that's about 2,000 years ago. Okay. And so basically, you know, it's an ancient civilization. They have a lot of history to review. They are fighters. You know, they have a long history of developing their culture. They're closely knit. They have a strong society. Okay, so black people, when you're dealing with a group like this, and then you're looking at how we are right now, we are basically the children of slaves. Our history, we're brand new people on the planet, so we have to establish ourselves on the planet, because people are looking at our history, a very short history. Our memory was wiped because we're connected to African societies, but African societies themselves and Native American societies themselves are fractured due to tribalism, lots of tribalism. So you gotta think about it, you know, you're coming from a tribalist, enslaved mentality. Now you're doing business for yourself, but you're dealing with a culture that had 2,000 years of fighting, of infighting, and all of the different experiences that they've had in order to protect and dominate themselves. They know how to, you know, box you out. It's just second nature to their culture. They don't even think about it anymore. It's just common sense to them. So the way we try to make friends and be nice with certain groups of people, it's not looked at as friendly. It's looked at as stupidity. They look at you like idiots. You see what I'm saying? And if you defend yourself, if you know, stick up for yourselves, if you box those people out, if you refuse to sell to them, if you ignore their whining, because that's one of the tactics, that's a warfare tactic. You know, when the Asians had this coronavirus situation happen, they began to experience pushback because, you know, the media had said that the virus started in Wuhan, China. And of course, in America, all Asian people are kind of grouped together, just like they're connected to the Chinese, basically. You know, doesn't matter. And what happened is we had a situation where, you know, we had this black attorney general stick up for the Chinese people. See, this is we have to learn this stuff. It's not looked at as friendly. It's looked at as stupid. See, black people, we need to understand, and these are so-called educated black people. But see, the educated black person sometimes is the most dangerous because they're so concrete in their conclusions based upon the training that they were given in the white supremacist school, that they can't judge. They don't judge their understanding based on results. They judge their understanding based on what they were taught in school. Okay, and you know, so for these type of people, Leticia James, you know, what she did is when the Asian people were experiencing some heat from the coronavirus situation, she jumped out in front and began to protect these people with her office and to stick up for them. And so naturally, black people, and I'll play something from Vicky Dillard.
She's drawing criticism, it says, from some in the black community. Shout out to those of you all that's not playing with people. I love the fact that we are moving the powers that be, and frankly, the powers that shouldn't be. That's their real names. Their real name is the power that shouldn't be. That we're moving them to respond to us because we're lifting our voices. I want you to know that your voice is so important that you should speak to attorney generals and they respond. That's what's happening. Vicky, keep reading. Listen, it says on Monday, which you guys know because I referred to this. On Monday, James's office announced the launch of a new hotline for New Yorkers to report hate crimes and other bias-based incidents related to the current virus outbreak. The move follows, pay attention, the move follows a surge in reported assaults and racist rhetoric aimed at Asian Americans amid the growing pandemic. Here's our sister. And ain't no disrespect to her, but I'm just saying, sis, we know you in this little position and stuff, but don't be a biscuit eater. That's our sister Letitia James, New York Attorney General Letitia James. Again, I want to be careful because we're not trying to dog our sister out. We're just trying to reel her in. We're just trying to let her know and remind her that you are in that position to benefit Black people. Now, don't get it twisted. We know that you are the Attorney General for the state, so other folk are obviously going to have to be represented by you. But you have a specific and a particular responsibility for Black first. Somebody say Black first. That's why we emphasize B1. Lord have mercy. We can move on. Listen. Watch this. The moderator's got a link to the article in the chat. Watch this. She says, we face unprecedented and uncertain times for New York, the United States, and the world. We must reiterate the fact that the pandemic does not give anyone an excuse to be racist, xenophobic, or biased. She goes on and on with her with her statement. But then she says, then the article says this. It talks about how the virus, which was first reported in Wuhan, China, late last year, has infected over 100,000 people across the U.S. and hundreds of thousands more globally. It continues. Watch this. Hold on. It continues.
So basically, you know, this chick, she sticks up for the Asians. I mean, and to her, that she feels that is her job. She feels that's her job, and it could be, you know, what the Asians want if she's working just for them. But the question right off admits, where is this for the Black people? Where is this advocacy for Black people? Now we look at the situation with let's look at Cardi B. I don't know if we can do that. Cardi B also, she stuck up for them. Cardi B stuck up. She stuck up for the Asians. Stop making fucked up jokes about Asian people because of coronavirus. We need to understand this here. This is around the same time. See this here? When did Vicky Diller do this particular? Whenever that was, but it's around March. So all this is happening at the same time. So that's letting you know that this is a coordinated media effort put out to protect the Asian people. Now, it's amazing that Black folks don't see this. We have to be able to protect ourselves, okay? And if you don't want to protect your own self, then you're looked at not as nice. You're not looked at as intelligent or some type of special type of person. You're looked at as stupid. Now Cardi B, she is Black, but she's like Puerto Rican and Latino, and Puerto Rican. All of this is slave culture. So even the Black and the Puerto Rican, that's a new people. Puerto Rican is a new people. It's a mixture between the natives of that island and the black and the white and the Spaniards. You know, so these are ignorant people. So we're thinking that we're doing something that's going to get respect in the world. But when you're dealing with these established cultures who have been around and know how to kind of circumvent a group, you're looked at as stupid. And so what they're doing is they're taking over. They're trying to take over, supplant you, and enslave you. Because if people can take over your businesses, if people can take over your land and your industry, you're their slaves, and they're going to begin to treat you like trash. This is just how these people are. So even Cardi B, you know, we already know she's not really that smart, so that they give her money because they can take that money at any time. So, you know, some of this stuff here, I'm just going to give a little history on this Chinese people, ethnic group, who are Chinese. So these are a small population in China, even though they're 10 million, almost 11 million of them. But, you know, of course, China has 1 billion people. But these are Chinese Muslims, and they have a long history. They fight to survive. Yang Dynasty, you know, these things are like 2,000-3,000 years old, these situations that these people have. And the Muslims, you know, Islam came over there and got into China, you know, and this particular group took over it. The Han Chinese are the most popular Chinese. Okay, so there's estimated 1,300,000,000 of this Han Chinese. These are the Sino-Tibetan ethnic group, okay? And this is, for the most part, this is Chinese. These are Chinese. Okay, so we should know some of this basic stuff when we're dealing with these type of people. You know, and we should study these type of things, you know, and the way that we interact with them. Anytime you get various ethnic groups coming into contact with each other, you're going to have friction. You're going to have racial friction, because either you're going to have, it's just like weather. Just like weather. If you got a hot front or a warm front and a cold front come together, when they come together, you're going to get a storm, right? And either you're going to combine those two differences, and then you're going to get a brand new thing different from either of the originals, or you're going to get a separation there, okay? And you're going to get a certain level of cooperation, but you're going to get you're going to always have a certain kind of conflict unless both groups are able to stabilize themselves in a separate territory, okay? And this is the reason why we're having a problem with white people. We're having a big problem, especially with white people, because what happens is when you combine two different ethnic groups, you're going to get natural conflict. And since we are never going to become white people, and white people don't want to become us, and we you know, they're not going to become something that's a mix between us and white, then what's going to end up happening here is they're wanting to kill us, or, you know, they're going to end up being defeated. But as far as these Asian groups, so what white folks are doing, they're bringing different groups in to supplant us, because as we grow, as the black people grow in America, we're growing and we're taking over industries. We're taking over systems because of the size of our people, okay? Because we're 40 to 50, 60 million people. So this is a big group. They can't treat us like we're just little slaves anymore, and we have a completely different mindset than the white people do. Okay, so they're allowing these other groups in as a buffer class to supplant. It is allowing them to get themselves together, but it's a temporary fix for them. And because they won't they're unwilling to do the right thing, which is separate our people and give us our own territory that we want, so that we can go ahead and maintain for ourselves, because they're afraid of us. It's like a big lion that's been trapped in a cage, and as that lion grows, you can't keep it trapped anymore. So these are some of the things that we got to think about, because, you know, we are a new group of people, and I don't care what split. See, this is another thing. We have these Moors, and I'm going to continue to say these Moors, they want to, you know, circumvent, and they want to undermine some of the progress that black people have made. And black people meaning original people, which is we are the original seed of the planet. Okay, and this is the connection that we have. And now the Moors, some of these Moors, Moor Science Temple, which is supposed to be students of Noble Drew Ali, they want to put their teacher at odds with Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X, which called us black. And they want to go head to head and try to get us more Americanized and to support the American white man's law and respect his law, you know, above our own indigenous original laws. And of course, we gave the white man some of those laws, but this white man has, you know, perverted and made their own laws on that. So we are black people, because it is separating us, because we are not going to be all in the same nation, okay, nationality. And the concept of nation is going to end up changing as well. The concept of nation is going to end up changing as well. But while we're still under the white man's rulership, his concept of nation, we can respect it. But black people are beyond the confines of the nation of white people. There is no way around, by changing our name from black to Moors, from changing our, you know, what we're called. This is not going to protect us from the evils of white supremacist systems, because other than that, Moors would have been leading the way. Okay, the Moor Science Temple would have been leading the way, but obviously the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you compare the works of the Moor Science Temple, who predates the Nation of Islam, versus the Nation of Islam's works, you're going to see the Nation of Islam's works are more successful and more impactful on the globe than the Moor Science Temple. So I'm not going to listen to the Moors and telling us that we're not black people, because the black people are unified. Number one, it's a unifying term, and unity is one of the foundations of power. Okay, so black folks, we need to know who to listen to, who to reject. When we're dealing with Asian people, they will tell you themselves when they're honest with you. If you want to remove a group of people from your neighborhood, stop buying from them. And it's not something that, I mean, of course, some of them will cry and get angry and they will play that game. Why do black people hate Asians? And if you fall for that game, then you're going to fall for the game. And then you're going to be disrespected, and they're going to treat you like shit, because it's not something that's respected. It's something that's looked at as stupid. And it's not about hate. It's about a game. They want to see if you're dumb enough to fall for it, so they can steal your money, steal your industry. All right? So, you know, we just need to understand that there's a lot of stuff at play when we're dealing with business, when we're dealing with finances. There's some stuff you can be friendly with people, but you don't just let people in your space like that. You don't share with people and all these other groups, you know, the same level as you share with your brother and sister. Black people are your brothers and sisters. So the black hair care industry is taken over by Koreans, you know. So according to Ebony, the Korean government banned the export of raw hair in 1965, making it virtually impossible for American business owners to produce wigs. Now, wigs was a big deal. Keep in mind, 1965, what was going on? It was the urban black uprisings. You know, the black youth were rebelling against the white supremacist government who was killing our leaders and oppressing our people, making it hard for us to be black in America and to be full citizens. So during this time, the Korean, they began to attack one of our industries, the hair care industry. So when the Korean government banned, they had a valuable product, which was their hair and their wigs. So they stopped exports of those wigs. So nobody else could produce the wigs made from the Koreans' hair. Then the US government helped them later on. They banned wigs with any trace of Chinese hair. So we know that Chinese and Koreans are pretty much similar people. And so that stopped us from making those wigs and getting those type of products. So the Asian nation also has the thumbprint on, so basically, the Asian nation also has its thumbprint on several hair care brands marketed specifically to African Americans. And so basically, as discussed in the 2006 documentary Black Hair, Koreans own 60% of the black hair care industry, and it's likely more 10 years later. So the new question becomes, how do black people take over and take control of black hair care industry? Many black industry hair care experts admit it's a tough question to answer. So the way you should do it is you have to be, first of all, ready. And that means that things like any opportunities that affect that community, you have to be ready to take advantage of. So it starts by educating the people. You have to educate these black women, and you have to educate black people in general about the culture of our hair care industry. And this is our birthright. And just like in the Bible, when Esau sold the birthright to Jacob, you can't do that because you're hungry, because you're poor. You don't sell your birthright. You don't sell your birthright. And that's what we've been doing. This is what we've been setting up. These are the situations that we've been set up as. And so we black folks need to understand these type of things, so that it takes us educating ourselves, educating our children about business, about this is warfare. You don't let another group, you can be friendly with another group, but when another group starts trying to, supplant your business, your industry to your community, this is something that you take offense to. That's just like, your friend trying to hit on your wife. This is uncalled for. That's where the line stops. You draw the line. You don't accept friendship when somebody's trying to steal your bread and butter. Because the Black American community needs to understand there are certain behaviors that you have to practice in order to get respect in the world. And even the Black African people in Africa are doing stupid behaviors. They're allowing the Chinese to come in there, but they get it quicker than us. They will be able to protect their stuff a little faster than us here in America, because they control at least the land, and they know when to fight before it gets too bad. But actually so you see the African people resisting right now, the takeovers. But Black American people, we need to learn that these things that are termed as racist are sometimes this is what you have to do in order to get control over your industry. And so, we just need to kind of be aware of that stuff and get that respect. Make sure you write and comment on what your thoughts are about this.